segue into your conversation?
Yeah, I guess
Well,
so.
okay.
I think that is a good segue.
Yeah.
It is a good segue because, I mean, one of the things that I've been following a lot is, there's always been the console war. And obviously the two major players in the console war has been Microsoft and Sony. This generation, we got to see the Xbox One and we got to see the PS4. And a lot of different things were brought forth into, each system, especially when you get into the upgrade segues of these consoles. The PS4 and the Xbox One X. But I mean, it was really exciting to see, some of the different things that came along with these two consoles. And I researched this quite a bit, and I was like, I even took a lot of notes. Like, things we saw with the Xbox One was gamer score porting, and we kind of saw that a little bit with PlayStation 4 too, is where you can keep your gamer tag and your achievements kind of transfer over. It was kind of nice to have that, in this generation of consoles. With the Xbox, we had the Kinect 2, as much of a failure as that was.
Yeah, that lasted all of 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, they really didn't take advantage of their, of Kinect 2. And it just kind of sucks. I mean, it did have, 1080p, 30 frames per second. It was rumored to be able to detect the move of your shoulder, move your wrist, and be able to do that. A lot of what we're seeing, like in VR now. But, I mean, it wasn't VR. It was, just sensing your body movements. The Xbox One guide, which is pretty much just streaming your TV through your Xbox, like your cable or whatever, Xfinity, Comcast, whatever you guys got. Backwards compatibility. They were promising this a lot in the beginning of the console, which we didn't really see. We actually saw a lot more later into its life.
Yeah.
They actually made it where you could, Xbox 360 and even, they've brought back a lot of different ways where you can play some of the older games on Xbox, which is cool to see now. But, at launch, that wasn't something we saw. Multitasking, evolving achievements. And so, I mean, there was a lot of good things that we saw, coming in when, the Xbox One was, a fresh product. Unfortunately, it didn't really carry over that well, and they only sold about 41 million units, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's great, but when, the population is, trillions of people, where are you with that? And it ends up that PlayStation actually sold more than double of their consoles. PlayStation actually sold 92.6 million PlayStations versus Microsoft's 41.5. I mean, they were blown out of the water in this generation of the console war, which it kind of...
Even the Switch now's outsold the Xbox One, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I believe so. This Christmas, it really hit a high. Yep.
Yeah.
I've got it behind my screen.
But and that's one of the reasons, like, I think that the Switch and...
Switch Live?
Yeah. I even have, my own reasoning as to why I think PS4 and the Switch are doing so much better than Microsoft. And it goes into a second topic that, I might go into later, depending on what we want to do for time. But that's exclusives.
Yeah.
Really, realistically, if you have a PC, why do you need an Xbox?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the start of the generation, there was games that you could only get on Xbox, but now they're doing their Windows Game Store, or is it now the Xbox Windows Game Store? I don't know,
Something
but
like
you can
that.
basically buy, whatever comes out on Xbox, you can also buy on PC. I think, don't you get, like, if you buy it on Xbox, don't you get a free code for PC? Or is that something that they've stopped doing? I can remember vaguely, I think it was Gears of War 4? Maybe 5? I'm pretty sure I got a download code for PC when I bought it on Xbox. I'm not sure if they've carried that on. I think it was something they were doing just for, like, exclusives. First-party exclusives, so anything that was from their, first-party studios.
Right, and that's the thing. I mean, you have these big games, and I mean, again, this is a topic that I want to go into depth more on later. But even with we heard earlier this year or late last year on how they're going to be bringing Halo to PC into the Steam store, and that was one of Microsoft's biggest exclusives. The amount of copies that they sold. I mean, there's so many people that remember playing, Halo 2 and Halo 3, and that was their childhood. That was a lot of people's first experience playing in
That was
a
my 20s.
well, Mr. Rob Soma, you are a little bit first of us, so. But that was a lot of people's first experience playing, a multiplayer first-person shooter, and now that's going from Xbox to PC. Well, why would you play that on Xbox when, so many people are migrating to PC? PC is growing rapidly, and if you have the chance to play a game on PC versus Xbox, that's one of the reasons I think the Xbox really didn't sell well this generation, is because they didn't have a lot of things just exclusive to them. There really was not a whole lot of reason to own a Xbox unless your friends had an Xbox. And that's why I think we have a lot of people moving over to PS4, because they have the same games that you can get on a Xbox, even if it's not on PC. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, perfect example. It's a console exclusive. You don't get that on PC, but you still get that on PS4.
It's still a sore point that they haven't released that on PC yet.
Isn't it coming to PC though?
No. No, fuck you, Rockstar. You're dead to me.
No, but I mean, I don't even think Red Dead 1 went to PC, did it?
No,
I think
because
so.
they actually deleted the files, so it couldn't be ported to PC.
Wow.
Yeah, so they can't even do a remaster.
That was an intern problem.
I can't believe they do that. They could never bring Red Dead to any other console. It's stuck on PS3 and Xbox 360.
Wow.
Yeah, Dave from accounting came down and accidentally hit delete.
What's this button do? Funny enough, that fires you. But yeah, I myself have never actually owned a Xbox. I've always, like, when I was younger, it was like PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, and then even just going up, I've got Switch and PS4, because I've just never seen a need for an Xbox. If any games I want to play on it, my friends had, and anything they didn't have, I could just get on Steam. So there was really no need there.
But that's something different about our generation. Like, when we were kids, we used to go over to other kids' houses and play games.
Yeah.
And, like, you'd go over and play on your friend's Xbox, and then you would play, Forza or Burnout, or, some of these games that you may not have on your own system. But it didn't really matter, because couch co-op and other games were, such a big market back then, and we don't see a whole lot of that now. But I mean, me and Zombie were the same way. We had, like, all the Game Boys for a while. We had the Game Boy Black and White, Game Boy Color, Advance SP, DS, like all these different models of the, you always had the Nintendo, and then most people will have a Nintendo and then one other console. And at this point, why would you get a Xbox over PS4? And I mean, that's a lot of the reason why I think we saw a big decline in the Xbox One sales this year. I'm hoping, maybe next gen, we might see a little bit different and see a little bit more competitive nature between the two. But the fact that, the PlayStation sold more than double the amount of units of Xbox, it's not looking good for Microsoft. And I mean, they really need to think about what are they going to do right in this next generation of consoles, because either, they can stay in the game, but is it really going to be proving, such, a good business move to keep pursuing Xbox, or just, make Xbox into more of a PC thing? And that seems to be a lot of the direction they're going. They want to make the Xbox more of like a PC experience. They're even putting everything they want into the Windows Store. If you can play it on Xbox, you can play it on PC for the most part. There's a few exceptions, but I mean, that's just one thing I'm noticing, that with, Xbox and PS4. I mean, and with the PS4, I mean, they offered a lot of different things at launch too. You get the PlayStation mobile app. You can control your friend's store. You get to control your notifications. Everything you get to control through the app on your phone. There's even a second screen experience. You could use your phone as a controller, or as a controller to like play movies or Netflix right from your phone to your PlayStation. And it was a great idea, because I mean, with the smartphones, you have all the technology there. You sync it up. If I have my PS4 on standby, I could actually shut off my PS4 on the other side of the house if I wasn't going to come back to it. and so it's there's some nice features. I mean, is that something deal breaker? No. The social sharing, it's really easy to share your clips and to even stream off of the PS4. Remote play with the PS Vita. Again, we saw how that didn't really pan out for them. Not my computer started to fall asleep. But I mean, and I honestly I would love to see PlayStation do another like PS Vita or some sort of remote play. I mean, we see it's possible with the Switch. Granted, the Switch is its own console, and you can you just plug it into a dock, goes right to the TV, take it off. I'd love to see some sort of still interplay between the console and a mobile device. Maybe not like the Switch, but I think the Switch is proving that there is a market for that.
Mm-hmm.
And at least still, I mean, handhelds have been a rage for a while with Nintendo's handhelds. They've always done well with those. I think there still is a market. Maybe just PS4 hasn't capitalized on it yet. You also had the PlayStation Camera, the PlayStation Move. Similar to Xbox's Kinect, really didn't take off, except when PlayStation actually introduced their VR system, and that's something that's actually done very well considering how early we are in the VR stages. And that's one thing I actually really like. Me and NZombie both have a VR system. We enjoy it. I mean, there's games on there that it's just fun to play. Now, of course, if you get motion sickness quite easily, not something you're gonna want to dive into, haphazardly. But
We lost zombie again.
yeah,
Love it,
love that.
He'll be back. Keep going.
Me today.
Discord just does not like you.
No.
But no, I mean, and then with the Xbox One X, we saw 4K environments and characters. They really took advantage of the hardware in there. And Xbox One X was and still is the most powerful console out there. I will give Xbox credit where Xbox is credit due. They did so well with the Xbox One X. It is the most powerful console. However, it came too late in the business cycle.
Mm-hmm.
It was already too late. I mean, again, we just talked about all the reasons why why would you get an Xbox at this point? Yes, you have the most powerful console. However, the most powerful console probably still isn't quite up to par with a home built PC. I mean, yes, it's cheaper, but I mean, even with the price tag of $500 for our console, that's the highest a console has ever been. Even the PS4 or PS4 Pro on launch was, I want to say, like maybe $400.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played those around 400.
Yeah, and I mean,
450.
I think it was 450.
Yeah, it might have been 450.
it might have been. I don't think it was that high though.
Been a few years. Can't remember.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think it's especially an important topic to talk about now because we're coming to the end of the console cycle,
Mm-hmm.
and the PlayStation 4 released in 2012 or 2013.
Yeah.
And so it's been 6 years since the last console, and PS4 is still going strong. We got a PS4 on launch. I got a PS4 Pro because he took his to fucking Canada and left me without one.
Oh, there it goes. He's coming back to me.
That's what Discord thinks of Canada. We got rid of one of them.
Oh no, only if they can't decide. I'm solidly Canada, so I'm fine. You can't jump between.
Yeah, well, Canada sucks.
Oh, yeah.
But no, and then you also get to see with the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, they both had the HDR, which is, I forgot what it was. High End Zombie, you probably know this.
No, it doesn't. Retreat,
He's gotta look
zombie!
it up.
I don't. What was the question?
What does HDR stand for again? It's high something something.
Resolution?
Thank you.
I don't know.
No, you're right. That was definitely it. But you also saw 4K take over big time. Now the Xbox One X was the only one that could do native 4K, and you could play games natively, while the PS4 Pro you could only play it would adjust the game up to 4K, but
Yeah,
not
it's
necessarily make it a
upscaled,
4K.
Mhm.
Right, it wasn't an actual 4K experience. But I mean, even the HD features on the PS4 Pro, it ranged from 1080p to 1440p on HD TV, which is great in things that it makes God of War just look absolutely gorgeous if you have the TV working right for it, and the system just works a whole lot better because you have, I think, double the power, this GPU power in the PS4 Pro, and then even with the PS4 Pro, select games output a native 2160p, and so it was still very good. Yes, not as powerful as the Xbox One X, but it was still a great system. I mean, and that was the difference. It may not have been the most powerful, but Sony's done what they have very well.
Yeah.
Up until this point.
Oh, ducky.
If they like put that processing power they have in the Xbox newest one, and put that towards like a VR thing, some sort of like computer add-on, something like that, then it would be amazing. It's just for what it is, it's behind the time.
Right, and Xbox One X Xbox has even said, Microsoft, they said they don't plan on doing any VR for their next gen consoles.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they're going to go for AR, aren't they? With HoloLens.
Oh.
Which could be cool if they do it right.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean the problem. I think what would have been amazing is like mixing VR with what was the name of the Xbox camera thing again?
Connect.
Connect. I think that would have been like
Yeah.
would have worked perfectly because I mean Connect worked, and it worked a lot better than the PS4 equivalent camera thing.
Right,
But it was just
move.
it was just that they crippled themselves with including it in the box. There was no option on launch to not have it.
Yeah.
So if you didn't want it, you're paying like what was it, like $150 that they knocked off when they removed it?
Mm-hmm.
So you're paying $150 for what, a paperweight that you don't
Pretty much.
want.
Yeah.
And Sony were like really clever in removing the camera from theirs, which let them knock $50 off the price so they could undercut the Xbox. So on launch, you've got the option of, oh my god, Dave, of getting a more powerful, cheaper console or a more expensive, less powerful console with a big paperweight that you don't want.
Right.
Which I think, as well as like screwing up their E3, where they concentrated, like the E3 before launch, it was like 90%. You can watch ESPN on your Xbox. You can you can say Xbox.
It was 90% Alexa.
Show me fucking some shit, and it'll do that.
It just
And instead of like saying like, here are all these amazing games that you're going to be able to play, whereas PS4 was like, here's a shit ton of games.
They're coming later, but
There you go.
I think Xbox failed in that way as well, because like the Xbox 360 was always pushing itself as a media center, where you plug it in, you could have your DVDs, Blu-ray, and all of that through the
Yeah.
Xbox, and that's always been a big push for them. And I think they just focused on the wrong thing at E3 with that.
Yeah, I think they've kind of like rested on their laurels a bit, because I mean, one of the things with consoles, and I think the reason why you stick with a specific brand of console is user base. If that's where all your friends are playing games, that's where you're going to stay, because Zombies on PS4, but I've got an Xbox. We've both got Call of Duty. Oh well, I can't play with Zombie. And because the 360 had the bigger user base, they kind of just presumed everyone's going to come over. The other thing that you stick with a console for is exclusives, the games that you can play on there. And Microsoft at launch just didn't have enough exclusives.
No.
It had Forza. Did it have a Halo on launch, or did Halo?
I think they announced it, but it didn't come out for a while.
Yeah.
Like they teased at it.
And then
You're
Gears
right.
of War was like a distance. That's coming like a couple of years later. So it had 3 exclusives, and the other games was what, Rise, Son of Rome, which no one had heard of.
That was on PC though.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Again, and that's the biggest problem with Xbox right now is that anything you can play on Xbox, you can play on PC.
yeah.
So why am I going to spend the let's just say $500 on a Xbox One X and just buy that, or just
Pay for
play on my
online.
PC? Yeah, and pay $60 online a year.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. I don't know whether you can really use like something being available on PC as like a detractor, because I think I don't know. I don't know how many people would own both. I mean, I own all three.
Weird.
I use one, which is my PC. Well, technically I use two because I've got two PCs.
Okay, well here's a
but
question.
my Xbox is maybe in the
Just
front
even
room.
lowered it.
That says a lot.
My PS4 is next to my
Somewhere
PC
ready.
because I've used it once to stream Red Dead, and it hurt too much that I couldn't play it on PC, that I stopped playing it.
But here's the thing: if you had the
Made me
chance
cry.
to play any of those games on PC or console, where are you gonna play it?
Personally, it would be... Well, I suppose I can answer from both sides, because like when I was younger, when I was a lad, I played
the
only
dinosaurs.
on console, and that was because I wanted to play it in the front room on my big ass telly, while sat in a comfy chair. But
Okay,
now
but
that I'm
then
old,
again, that's 20 years ago.
yeah, exactly. That was when it was Atari versus Intellivision.
Yeah.
That is the real console war.
That's also when,
What is this Sony you speak of?
That's predating Steam. That's predating, all these other advancements in PC.
I want to play
What
a
is
game on the PC. How about Solitaire?
Yeah. When I was a PC gamer, we had
Minesweeper.
Minesweeper. What is this Minecraft?
We had
Speak of?
pinball.
Microsoft Art.
Yeah.
What was it?
Spider Solitaire or Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say Xbox, I think, is doing a good thing with their discless Xbox that's coming out. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
Yeah.
I think that is the perfect idea for streamers because it lowers the price a huge amount and it allows you to play the exclusive. Imagine PlayStation did that. You can get all the exclusive. You download them. You don't need the disc. You just download them, play them, and then when you're done, delete them, play the next exclusive. I think there was a really smart idea on that point, but again, came too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of Microsoft ideas were in the right place because they were talking about always online experience, downloadable content, not sticking a disc in your machine. But it wasn't the right time to announce that sort of stuff.
No.
Yeah.
And it just got everyone's back up, and then you're trying to work over a hostile crowd, and you're trying to work them over with things that you've already prepared, and it's shit they don't want to hear. So I mean, you've brewed the pooch. Goodbye, dog. So
Literally.
you just you're just onto the complete wrong footing, and Sony completely took advantage. Because they could look at what Microsoft was doing, all the shit press they were getting for doing it, and then they could turn around and go, yeah, our machine is just there for the gamers. It's there for you to play games. These are the amazing games that you can only get on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Now just send us all your money, and we will send you this.
They were like, we would never do that.
Yeah,
Give us
but
money.
See those
now,
guys?
now they start, but like a couple of years into it, they start rolling out the same things that Microsoft was promising at launch.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's getting a positive spin because it's the right time to do it. It's an addition to what you bought the console for.
Right.
It's then what people want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of the best things I think that Sony did that was ahead of the game was the sharing thing, because that was before Twitch hit mainstream and things like that, and it's just that was ahead of the game.
And that's the thing. Social media is forever.
Mm-hmm.
When you share a clip of your gameplay, I shared a sextuple kill from Overwatch.
I thought you were going to say sex tape.
We all thought he was going to say sex tape.
No, but I had this clip where I actually completely blew myself out of the water, took a diva, threw over a crowd with the self detonation or whatever, got a sextuple kill, and I was like, this is never gonna happen again. I pressed the share button, posted to Facebook, it's there forever.
Yeah.
And you couldn't do that with Microsoft and Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you could, at least.
I think you could, but it was like really
Difficult.
yeah. On
Roundabout.
PS4, it was you press a button, it does it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
on Xbox, I'm pretty sure you had to use the voice commands. You had to say Xbox
Xbox, that was amazing.
something.
Yeah, you had to
And-
get that
and then,
giant
You know, your
paperweight.
dickhead
Paperweight.
sister or brother would walk past and just shout, Xbox off! And then you're like, oh no!
Alexa, play Despacito.
Yeah. I think they've always had like partnerships, but it's always been like a chip that was made specifically for that purpose. It's like when you tear like one of these consoles apart, it looks like a small form PC, but it's basically like you can't take any of that kit from the PS4 and stick into a PC.
Mhm.
Right.